Yeah, so mate, you make your NRL debut up there for the Cowboys. Talk to me about the story about how the debut came about. Who'd you play against? Were you named in the team? And who told you when you found out?
Yeah, so debuted against the Roosters actually.
Really?
Yeah, down at Allianz.
Actually, I remember that. I remember watching.
Yeah, no, and so it was like I wasn't named, and it was out of me and Patrick Mago, who's now at the Rabbitohs.
Yep.
And me and him are like we're really good mates, and we were sort of at captain's run. We were both sitting in the sort of like the hub, like rehab room sort of thing, and we're just like rolling out and stretching before captain's run, and Greeny comes in, and the sort of, I don't know, I felt the mood drop, and I just felt everyone just go silent. I was like, oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm just like pretending that I'm not looking at him, taking notice of him. I'm just like throwing the strapping tape around, just trying to mind my own business. And then he goes, Braden, just have a chat with you. I was like, oh, okay.
Your heart just dropped.
Yeah, heart just dropped. And he goes, I'm going to bring you off the bench this week. And I was like, no, yeah, thanks.
Just trying to play cool.
Just trying to play it as cool as I can. And I was like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And but in my inside, I was through the roof. I didn't really know what to do. So he tells me before Captain John, first thing I do is, can I get flights for my parents, my family to come over? Can I get flights? Go home and I ring my parents, and we have a big chat, and they're just crying on the phone. Makes me cry, and I was like, far out. This is how much it means to me and my family. And then we get to the game day. My mum tells me that my dad can't come over because his passport's expired.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like,
your biggest fan.
bro, come on.
Come on, man.
Sort that out. But he watched it around my uncle's house, and he was just one of the proudest dads at the moment, at that moment. And it was amazing. I played probably 20, 25 minutes against the team of the Roosters, and it was just so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. My lungs were there's probably a set that you could see where I'm just not there. I'm just like trying to breathe, trying to get my legs moving. But yeah, it was an awesome experience.
So what did it mean to you making your NRL debut? You obviously went through a heap of adversity growing up, loved the game, face a few challenges to get to where you were, to finally make your NRL debut. Did you get time to reflect after the game and think, geez, I've essentially achieved my dream here? Like, what did it mean to you?
Yeah, it meant everything that I had been through was worth it.
Yep.
And
moving to Australia.
And moving to Australia, the moving from New Zealand to Sydney to Townsville was all worth it, and everything that I'd done to that point was all worth it. And the sacrifices that I had made and my family had made in New Zealand were all worth it. So it just made everything feel like, it was just, everything was just worth it, really. And it just made me so proud that I had stuck through it all. Yeah, and if it wasn't for my parents, I would have moved back home years ago.
Talk to me about, I guess, the sacrifices that not only you've made, but and how hard it is, because, as a professional athlete and as an NRL player, like, we have to make sacrifice after sacrifice to get what we want. We essentially, and I don't, I guess, want to define a normal life, but, in ways we don't live a normal life. We don't, get the same holidays as people. We do things a little bit differently. So talk to me about, what the level of sacrifice it takes to make the NRL, because it's not just, here or there. It's ongoing, it's daily, isn't it? 24/7.
Even going back to New Zealand, there's music festivals that are going on, and you want to go, and enjoy yourself. Let your hair down after the season, but you can't, because you got to focus that I've got preseason coming up. I've got to make sure that I'm in the best shape that I can to perform for preseason, so I'm not too far behind. And it's just every day you just got to worry about sort of what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're doing, making sure that you're just getting enough sleep.
Yep.
Making sure that you're, you know your role, so you got to study. It takes a toll, and I can see why players can get stressed.
You can see why some players aren't cut out for it. Hey,
yeah, you can see why people give up.
Yep.
I don't like saying give up, but I just like, because you've made you've given it a shot, and and that's more than a lot of people can say.
Yeah. I always say that, hey, players will make it and players will not. If you've given it your absolute best and you've left nothing out there and have no regrets and you don't make it, well, man, you can live with that. Like,
100%.
there's plenty more in life to make you happy and many other things that you can jump into. But if you half-ass it and you don't attack it and you don't give it everything you got and you just like fade it away, it's like, well, man, what do you expect? Like, you didn't give it 100%.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
something like my dad said. My dad said to me, whatever you decide, if you want to come home and just play footy and work, as a family, we will support you 100%. But we don't want you to come home, watch a game of footy, and say to yourself or say to us, man, those guys were training. I was training with those guys. That could have been me.
Yeah.
I don't want you to regret your decision to come home. And he goes, I know you will regret it because I know you're not done there. And that has stuck with me throughout my whole career. That stuck with me from 20s to now. That I would have regretted it if I did move. And I'm so glad that it didn't.
Is that the best bit of advice your old man's given you?
Yeah, 100%. I reckon it's probably one of the best pieces of advice anyone has.
Yep.
You say live life with no regrets, but there's some things that that were just not the right decision, and it was just a heat of the moment thing that I wanted to go home, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that he, drilled that into my head that you would have been upset with yourself, and that's just stuck with me ever since.